was going to be around, isn't he?
Well, I guess so. I think he's not doing that badly that I think he would say, oh, I just can't do this anymore. I don't think so. I mean, you never know with someone, do you, whether they say, oh, I just can't go through the training anymore, I can't do this. But you know, there are fights out there for someone with a record of only 2 defeats against world-class opposition. You know, there's money to be earned, but he's got to put the work in, obviously, and he looks as if he needs this fight.
Kalnars will probably view this as quite a successful night if he gets to the end of it without being stopped.
Well, I said earlier, win or lose, his last 6 have ended inside 4. This one hasn't. He's broken the chain. And he's survived because he's watched what Virchis has done. He's just kept his wits about him. He's defended himself, and he's been able to predict what's happening in front of him. Sure, once or twice he's been hurt by the right hand, but he's stuck with it because he's been able to predict what's going to happen. He's not been caught by surprise at all.
And again, there's that slapping right hand.
Yeah, but it was 3-4 punches coming through. I mean, he's in danger of embarrassing Virchis here. He's giving him a far harder time than the Ukrainian, whose mouth is now dropping open. He's tired. You know, far harder than they thought.
Yeah, he gets a couple of decent left hands there that come bouncing back off the chin, but really just doesn't carry anywhere near the requisite amount of power to dislodge Virchis. Well, there you go. I mean, he's feeling that confident. We'll just keep our eyes on whether or not this runs to 6 or 8. They have got a habit of changing around. It was an 8-rounder at the beginning of the day, as you said, and it's been dropped to a 6. That's probably just as well for Virchis at the moment, because he's being made to look a bit ordinary here.
Yeah, I didn't think so at the time, but I think you're right. He's not as fit as he should be. He's puffing and blowing. He's slowed down. And life's got a lot easier for Kalnar as this one's worn on. There's been times when he's had to suck it up to keep going, but no, he's still there. He's survived another one.
Kalnars probably the one that's now sitting there thinking, I wish we'd have gone to 8.
Well, maybe he will. Who knows?
Не отдавай ему середину, не давай разбежаться. Понял? Пусть он пятится, пусть он пятится.
There's Kalnar trying to poke out the jab, nothing landing, but trying to get through with something.
Не вкладывайся, бросай на скорость. Ты самое главное должен опередить, остановить.
It's almost like a layer of makeup he's putting on there.
He's still blowing and puffing.
Well, that's been for what it has been since the end of round 2, but he's still standing there, and that is the final round then coming up. So it is indeed going to conclude at 6.
Yep.
And this should be quite interesting now, this final round, because Kalnar may as well just go in there swinging for all he's worth in the hope that he lands something here. Virchis needs something to take out of this fight. And again, it's the hitting on the back of the head with that slapping punch that he's got.
Yeah, it's a case of whether or not he wants to have a go at knocking Virchis out. He isn't going to win the fight on points, I wouldn't think, but a couple of jabs there get through. You know, if he feels fresh enough, and he feels that Virchis is tiring a little bit, then maybe he'll have a go for it. I would think that at the very least he feels confident he can survive now.
Yeah, this is a long way short of the Virchis he saw fighting Chagayev and indeed Gomez a year ago.
Yes, it is. He's got some work to do to get back to European level, hasn't he? He's got to get in the gym and sharpen up. That's what this fight was supposed to do for him. Well, it's been a workout, shall we say, and it's probably shown him how much the work there is to do. So Now it's up to him whether he wants to do it or not.
Yeah, it's interesting. They always, the last thing that is ever going to disappear is the punch, and he's obviously still got a punch. He just hasn't got in range to actually throw it yet.
Well, he's never surprised Kalnar. Kalnar has just had his wits about him all the time, looked after himself first and foremost, and has been capable enough to predict what's happening. The one time he was hurt turned out to be a wrong call that I have sympathy with the referee for, because I thought it was a low left hook as well. It almost doubled him over, but the replay showed it was a good shot.
Yeah, I think he's found out tonight that coming back at the age of 35, 36 after a lack of training, a year's gap at that age, it takes a lot of recovery.
Yeah, maybe we should not judge him on this one, judge him on the next one, see how much he's shaken off by then, see how fresh he is. If he's like this again, well, you've got to say that he's not really got too much of a future.
Inside the final minute then of the final round.
Well, he's hurt Kalnar then, but Kalnar again, those gloves go high up, he backs off and he watches what's happening, he protects himself. 40 seconds, can he survive it? It looks as if he will. Three shots to the head and he just goes off into the center of the ring again. Kalnar out of the way.
Better a bit more sustain from Virchis.
Well, it's too late now to get the knockout, and Kalnar survived.
And he's finishing with a barrage of punches swung at Virchis. Well, he deserves a bit of credit for that, because I think there was many people that actually thought he'd actually survive a couple of rounds based on his previous record, but he stood up well to quite a tough examination. And Virchis, well, he'll get away with a victory here, you would imagine, but that's going to have planted a not so much a few seeds of doubt, but a dose of reality as to what he needs to do to get back to where he was.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's told him what needs to be done in the gym. Yes, I can't see any way he's not getting the decision, but well done, Kalnar. Yeah, I all but wrote him off before the fight. Sometimes you do that, sometimes you expect something to happen, and it just doesn't. And well done, Kalnar. He's defended himself well all night, took some shots, of course he did, but he's proved he's a tough guy.
Not if he does take this decision, it'll be victory number 25 in his record with just those 2 defeats. Reminder still to come, Andrei Pala of the Czech Republic. Good fighter, that guy, against Alex Mazakin of the Ukraine, and Sisi Salif of the USA against Konstantin Eirik. Those coming up before we conclude here in about over the next hour and a half. And a couple in reserve should we need it. Looks as if we might have a night of fights going to the distance, because you can't imagine Salif.
No, you just never know with heavyweights, do you? You just never know. And
so, decision just about ready then to be made.
Well, they're taking a while. Can't understand what the MC's got the scores. We're not holding him up. Come on.
Adding a bit more drama and tension than need be, really. Well, we have a hold up here for some reason, and here we go.
Zu den Punktzetteln. Punktrichter Hackenberg aus Deutschland wertete 59:55. Daniel van der Wiel aus Belgien 59:55. Und Sergej Kirjakovs aus Lettland 59:56. Für den Sieger Vladimir Virchis.
So Virchis then notches up victory number 25 on his record, and Kalnars deserves a bit of respect for putting in that performance tonight. Good performance from him, stuck around. It was a tough workout for Virchis.
Yep, Virchis now needs to get back to the gym, do it all again, fight again as soon as possible, get some more rust off and remind people he's here.
Right, quick break. We'll be back live in a couple of minutes.